The encampments on university campuses across the country continue to be a growing concern. McGill is over 3 weeks now. University of Toronto headed towards 3 weeks. UBC, McMaster. These encampments aren't going anywhere. And the people inside of them are hearing just one message. Israel's bad. Everything in Gaza is great. No message against Hamas. Well, some people want to bring a different message to bear on this. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Joining me is Raheel Raza. She is with the Council of Muslims Against Antisemitism. And Raheel, thanks for the time today and thanks for all your work.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
It was just a little while ago that I ran into one of your colleagues trying to go onto the U of T campus with a truck. Mohammed Rizwan was trying to get his truck onto the U of T campus. It contained a message from a man who is from Gaza, but says these camps need to stop glorifying Hamas. He was turned away. You guys have tried to get that truck on campus several times, haven't you?
Yes, we have. And with no luck, unfortunately. This is so ironical in a country that gives us freedom of speech, or so-called freedom of speech. And the message that we were trying to present was an alternate message. It is a message of peace because we don't believe in hate and violence. The Council of Muslims Against Antisemitism, which constitutes an entire Muslim advisory board and steering committee, is exactly this. It's Muslim voices that are talking about an alternate narrative. They're talking about creating peace, not having hate on our streets. It's so troubling to see this happening. And my colleague, Rizwan Muhammad, was telling me that he was really just, absolutely taken aback at the way this encampment at UFT was set up. He said it wasn't just that some students had come out to protest. He has been a war correspondent and a journalist, and he's seen rallies. He's seen these kind, but he says this was nothing like I've ever seen before. It was organized. The tents were all similar. So you could see that planning had gone into this. And I understand that there are people there who are not even part of the university.
And we've documented all of this at the Toronto Sun. We have documented the outside groups. They've documented it themselves. Groups like Palestine distributing I think they took 100 Palestinian flags in. They have distributed keffiyehs. They have distributed all kinds of equipment. We've documented that they and other groups are part of this, and the supporters, be it the people at the encampments or their allies at places like CBC, say, oh, there's no evidence of this. There is clearly evidence of this, but what's truly disturbing to me, Raheel, is that whether it's these encampments or the marches that went before them, there's calls for a ceasefire, but it's only aimed at Israel. There's no calls for peace, which is what you're talking about. There's no calls for releasing hostages, which I think would be a precursor to peace. It is a firm denunciation of Israel and a de facto endorsement of Hamas.
Well, I would say it's a hate fest. See, and this is what is troubling. If they were there to talk about how we can negotiate, let's release the hostages. And unfortunately, these rallies, which are in support of Hamas, never speak of the hostages. And that is so inhumane. They have just one rant: destroy Israel, eliminate the Jews. And how is that possible in a country like Canada? Now, Brian, I'm from Pakistan. And there are many Muslim majority countries, including Pakistan, where they're not allowed to carry the Hamas flag in sports arenas so that it may create disturbance. And while this is happening in Muslim countries, here in Canada, where we respect democracy and freedom of voice, an alternate voice, which is a voice of peace and rationalization and support, is not allowed. It's not just that they literally did not allow our truck with Hamza Haweidi's message to go in. Rizwan tried many, many times, but they did not allow that, while other trucks were allowed to go in. So it's not that it's blocked off entirely. They were allowing, food trucks to go in and the porta potties to go in. So,
Yeah, for
um,
people that don't know, the encampment now has porta potties. Those went in by truck, and the university
yes.
obviously allowed that to happen for the porta potties to be delivered, to be craned in there. Um, at the actual
While my
encampment,
colleague Rizwan was there, he saw other trucks going in. And he asked again and again, why can't we take our message? But he was blocked. And the security officials who were there said, sorry, these are our instructions.
uh, at the actual encampment, it's students deciding who gets to go in past their barricade. And if they don't think that you're on board with them politically, they won't let you in. But in the case of the truck, it was the university that made the decision not to allow your organization's truck to go in with a different message. When I was there, the security officer was not willing to discuss it, not with Rizwan, not with me. Um, I know that you've written to the university. Have you received any responses?
No, no, there has been no response. There was a full page ad in the National Post by faculty and students of the university saying exactly this, addressed to the president, but I don't think he's responding. And, as you had mentioned in your column, I didn't know this, but he is Jewish.
And his
And
mother's a Holocaust survivor.
yes, so that is so shocking. It's not that we are presenting any kind of violent resistance. We are just bringing an alternate message. So here's the crux of the thing. Since October 7th, the narrative has been negative, and it has been in the hands of Hamas supporters, funded, I believe, by billions of dollars from Qatar and Iran. And the alternate narrative is not given a chance anywhere.
So let's discuss that alternate narrative. Before I let you go, let's actually talk about he's from Gaza. He's in the United States right now. He wrote, I think it started with a piece on Newsweek, and then he was interviewed on CP24, and that's what you're trying to play. What is his message?
His message is to the students and the demonstrators, saying that what you are doing is not helping the Palestinian cause. And I would agree with that. If we were talking about something concrete, if we were talking about some kind of an agreement, let's negotiate some sort of an agreement. You release the hostages first and foremost. There has to be this acceptance that what Hamas did was evil. They were the ones who attacked. But you know as well as I do that on October 8th, the narrative changed and Hamas became the victims. It just took 24 hours before it to become an entirely, entirely different narrative. So the first thing is to talk about the hostages. When we have a conversation, when I speak publicly, we say, first you release the hostages, and then we talk about any kind of negotiations. But it's for them. It's as though the hostages don't exist. It's as though they never attacked Israel. It's as, it's as
Well,
though they never took hostages.
uh, the people who deny what happened on October 7th have shown up. I'm not saying that's everyone at these protest marches or at these encampments, but they've definitely been there. And I know that it's not just one or two people who buy into the denialism, which, by the way, has been pushed by Hamas since about October 8th or 9th.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is what I'm saying, that ordinary people, let's say ordinary Canadians who may be naive, who don't know the politics of the Middle East, they buy into that narrative. And this is because their PR machinery is working 24/7 to promote this narrative, and they don't allow an alternate narrative. The University of Toronto incident is a perfect example of how they're not willing to hear another voice, hear another side, to hear another narrative. Now, we are Muslims, we are observant Muslims. So we are speaking from within the faith, And we're speaking from a Canadian perspective, which says that we don't want hate speech. If they were there just saying that they want to rally for the Palestinian cause, and that is something that, of course, all of us are concerned about. The Palestinians do need to, have a regular, normal life, and we don't want any more dead bodies. But if you're not going to allow a conversation, if you're not going to allow a dialogue, if you're not going to listen to the other side, to a great extent, we feel that, we're in between. We're not Israeli, we're not Jewish, we're not Palestinian, but we are Canadians. We care for democracy, freedom of speech, and human rights. And we want to create an atmosphere where there can be our voice also over and above the voice of hate. Hate is something that we will never allow on our streets, or we should not allow on our streets. And, it only leads to more hate. It's a vicious circle. And when we know that the intent of Hamas is to destroy Israel and to eliminate the Jewish population, then it is a very difficult conversation. But we are willing to have that conversation.
Well, hopefully the university will change their mind soon. Their past actions don't actually point in that direction, but we need some hope. Raheel, thank you for your time and for your work as always. We'll chat again soon.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.